Ladies and gentlemen, this administration is losing their minds.
This is a political wedge issue and an attempt to win a culture war. And they're doing that in a way that is harsh and cruel to a community of kids, especially. I'm like going to get I'm going to get emotional about this issue because it's horrible. But you know, it's like kids who are bullied, and like all these leaders are taking steps to hurt them and hurt their lives and hurt their families. And you look at some of these laws in these states, and it is going after parents who are in loving relationships who have kids. It's completely outrageous. Sorry. This is an issue that makes me completely crazy, but it is an issue that is a political wedge issue. It is not a reflection of where the country is. This is
for anybody who is confused as to who that was boohooing on the audio. That was Jen Psaki, that is the White House secretary, Jen Psaki. And so she works for Joe Biden. A lot of times I say that she's actually the president because we see her more than we see Joe Biden. But okay, she's boohooing about the fact that there's legislation that give parents the right to know what's going on with their children, and legislation that says that you can't chemically castrate children or mutilate their bodies. That's what she's crying about. She thinks that it's bullying in order to have parameters on certain things like that, right? Okay, here's the thing, right? So I don't believe in big government. I don't, but to an extent, right? Because some things should be called abuse, okay? That is abuse. You do not take a child who is not fully cognitively developed and then say, you're going to give them certain medications to block their puberty, all right? Then or you say your 14-year-old, you say, well, we're just going to cut this off and cut that off because she made a decision that she is now a boy without any, they act like there's not going to be any kind of repercussions for such a lifelong decision. That is a permanent decision. No matter how much they say, well, they could always get implants or they could, they could just stop taking the medication and then it's reversible. That's not true. There's going to be some sort of residual left over when you do things like that with kids who don't know what they want yet. When I was a kid, I know that I said I was a boy. I was definitely a tomboy, and by today's standards, they would have already chopped off everything and had me walking around here being called Casey because I have that unisex name, right? But no, seriously, like we cannot, like, what is the harm in talking to a child and saying, why do you feel like this? What made you wake up and feel like this? What's going on? Instead of just affirming like, oh, okay, well, let's go along with this. And that's how this administration makes you feel when she cries like that. And she says it's bullying and it's harming kids, to wait to make a lifelong decision, because there's another side to this that nobody pays attention to. The people who have to detransition back, after they've taken a female who's taken testosterone for a long time, and then she stops, maybe she can go back to looking like a woman, but she keeps the deep, deep voice. People don't understand hormones are not just, and I tweeted about this, hormones aren't just like, oh, I'm so hormonal today, God. No, they are chemicals that make up just about everything. They're part of your endocrine system. They're part of a system. They are real. They exist. It's not just about mood swings, okay? That's why you have a lot of women, when they go through menopause, they go through, some even go through psychotic issues, depression, anxiety. It happens, okay? People don't realize the importance of that. So even a child who you block their puberty, you're blocking development of certain hormones that need to produce in order to keep the homeostasis of the body. I mean, what is so criminal of making that real fact, that real point? That is a point to think about when you do things like this so early. Also, these hormones, again, they go to chemical imbalance. Now you're not having enough hormones that maybe, need to go to the brain to react a certain way. All chemicals that are important. Your brain is so sensitive. Now you're having psychotic, you don't know what kind of side effects these medications, they do give that. They do give psychotic side effects where people start hearing voices and stuff. Now, how do I know? I've had patients like that. I have. They give psychotic effects of just total rage and anger, where a lot of them become suicidal. I've seen trans patients in the hospital for suicidality, and it's not because they're not being accepted. They're being accepted. let's also give ourselves, celebrate how far we've come in life, right? So there was a time, yes, where they weren't accepted. There are stories of people who have killed themselves over it. I remember that kid Layla Acorn. Um, his family, he felt like he was a female, and then his parents basically told him he was crazy, and then he ended up killing himself. He threw himself in front of a truck. I mean, it was bad. I would never tell a parent, oh, if your child comes to you like that, like take them to church and just say, hey, forget about it. Like, no, like you need to really deal with this situation and what's going on, and never stop showing your child love. You know what I'm saying? Never. But that's between you and your child. It's not between the child and their teacher and everybody else but you. And that's the point. That's the point that these laws are making. So that's what she's boohooing about. This administration has gotten to the point, but they don't know what else. Now she's boohooing on a thing. Like, I mean, this is it. Where do I live? Like, this is a joke. Okay. So anyway, I wanted to drop that off. Again, why this is important is because it's about children and the lies. You see what I'm saying? About the narrative. The media narrative always wants to sound a certain way. Guys, if you like this episode, if you like my channel, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Please like this video, share the video, comment below. Let's get the dialogue going. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.